Hey guys, welcome to Gray, the podcast for those of us who are navigating this complicated world of military life alongside our partners. If you're looking for real conversations, genuine insights, and a community of seasoned mil spouses dedicated to supporting each other through every challenge, especially those WTF moments, and maybe even find a silver lining along the way, here we are. We're going to get real about the highs and lows of military life, share stories, and have candid conversations as we laugh our way through it all. This isn't just a podcast. It's a sanctuary where we can all find connection, strength, and the courage to be ourselves, no matter where the journey takes us. Grab your headphones and settle into our corner of the internet where you're not alone. Let's gather at Gray.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gather at Gray. We're actually recording this on St. Patrick's Day, so we're both wearing green, and my entire house smells like a corned beef. So that's fun. But we wanted to just do a check-in. Courtney and Tanya here. And check in on some things that we've talked about since the beginning of the year. It's March, mid-March, getting towards the end of March, weirdly. We're past the middle.
We're almost done with Q1, as Courtney's little business mind would say.
Q1. Listen, I even have to put my life in quarters. Let me be great. Just let me be great.
I am not judging you. Go forth and be businessy.
Tanya and I were thinking about some of the things that we have talked about in the last few months on this podcast. And for those of you who are just tuning in or this is your first episode, I really encourage you to go maybe not all the way back, but at least start in January when we were talking about setting intentions for the year. And our phrase that we said we were going to check in on throughout the year was confident patience. And I very specifically remember saying this was going to be a massive struggle for me and that Tanya would probably excel significantly more in the area of intentionally leaning into confident patience. Is that the truth? So far for me, it's the truth. Is it the truth for you?
I think so. I think it's sometimes I wonder if it's that I'm having confident patience or that I'm just like okay with like waiting for the things to come. But I think there's a bit of overlap right there, right? And again, I think it leans into you guys have said this before, a little bit of my witchy energy and believing that like things will align when it's time for them to align. And you can't rush it. You can't force it. You have to just kind of let everything fall into place. So yeah, this is not one that like I feel like I particularly struggle with. Although there's sometimes this kind of balance of me wondering, okay, are you being confidently patient or are you being inactive? Right? Trying to find that balance of like, you have to wait for the things to align, but you have to continue to work towards them. And so figuring out where that balance is lying.
I like how you said that. For those who know me, know this. For those who don't know me, it becomes very readily apparent that I have no patience for anything. I want everything to happen now. And that is for everything. There isn't even there's not even like categories of I'm patient about this, I'm not patient about this. I just want things moving forward always. I don't know when I became that way. My husband says something about I have a lot of nervous energy, but it's not like anxious nervous energy. It's like I want to be accomplishing things all the time. And I struggle letting myself rest, like letting myself sit and be calm. Even on days we have nothing, I invent things to do. I started canning things.
Oh God.
I started canning things because I got like dried beans and stuff like that. And then like last Saturday or the Saturday before, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just make these beans and can them. And my household is like, why? I don't understand why. I
I
don't
am
know.
with
It
your
was a fun
household. Why?
project and I did it.
So, okay, there's a question though of because for some people, some forms of productivity, whether that's so canning, preparing for other things, is a type of rest, right? Because that gives yourself a break. That gives future you a timeout, right? Although I suspect that future you doesn't actually take that timeout, you just fill it with something else.
Probably.
Probably. I also like I get it because it has been some of it's been a change in circumstances that has kind of caused me to slow down. Allowing myself to slow down has been really helpful in being like, okay, then we can sit in this moment. I always tell people like if you don't slow down, if you don't take the time to give yourself rest, to give yourself space, to give yourself just that little moment of solitude, like your body will demand it and take it from you. So I have decided that I much
Right.
prefer deciding when I'm going to have my rest than having my body be like, and we're done.
I think I'm in seasons, and I think right now feels like a season of doing.
Yeah.
And there are, especially in the summer, I lean into the summer. I love the summer. I like to eat dinner at 8:30 p.m. Like
Hmm.
it's light out, feels like until midnight. And I feel like that's the season when I'm much calmer and I allow myself to be a lot more relaxed about specific things. But speaking of that, my phrase, which we all remember Tanya despises, is your personal KPIs. Her face is so good. This is also newer to me because as I worked in business for years and years and doing strategic planning, it just became the word that I used. What's your key performance indicator? It's terrible. Honestly, it's terrible to even say that about yourself,
I'm
but it
going to let
helps
you
me
say that.
organize.
I'm like, I won't tell you that, but like, it's not my chosen phrase.
Well, it's in categories. It's like KPIs in categories like health, productivity, work. I don't know.
But KPIs make them feel like work. Right? And like, I don't want my personal life to feel like work. So that's why I lean into the softer phrases of visions, intentions, manifestations, that kind of energy, right? How are you picturing? What are your goals for the year? What are your personal goals? One thing I'm not great about doing with them, which I want to get better about, and I will add this to my Q2 goals, is writing them down. I'm
Ooh,
very
that's
good
good. Mhm.
like, I'm good about keeping them in my head and being like, okay, this is what we're doing. But I need to be better about writing them down because I feel like writing them down gives them heft and weight. That doesn't necessarily happen when they exist in my head.
I think that's great and something that I don't do that I need to do. I do it again for business in
Hmm.
my for my company and job. I write everything down. So
Hmm.
why it doesn't make sense to me that I don't translate that into my personal needs. It feels like if that's the way my brain is organized on the business side, it would bring rest if I organize myself that way on the personal side. Don't. That's asinine. Why don't I do that?
I don't know. I think part of it is like the lack of prioritization of self,
Mm,
right? Like we live in hustle culture, even as we might try to like step out of it to where we're like, well, we got to be producing and getting and doing financially, professionally. But sometimes personally, we're kind of like, I mean, we'll handle that later. That's for later
right.
me. Later me will deal with that, right?
But
It's
later
interesting.
but doesn't later you sometimes just get all of a sudden handed a overflowing basket of things that you
Absolutely.
totally said later me would fix or do?
Listen, later me has been dealing with all of these like medical appointments that I was supposed to do in 2023, 2024. And I'm like, when was this due? And I'm like, can we not talk about that part? Because later me's just trying to catch up. She's just trying to
Mhm,
get like, right? But like, and it was that feeling of it's too much. Like there's
mhm.
too much to be done. There's too much to get through. But the feeling of relief and lightness as each thing gets handled, I'm like,
Yeah,
girl,
that's true.
you just loaded yourself down for no reason.
Although I had to wake up early on Saturday morning to hem my son's pants. He is one of the principals in the upcoming Newsies Junior, and it was costume check, and I waited exactly 1 hour before costume check to hem these damn pants.
I mean, but you got it done, didn't you?
I did. I got it done.
Those
Check.
procrastination fairies sometimes are real good.
Did you have the procrastination song growing up in your school?
No,
Nations, the occupation of every kid across the nation. You didn't have that?
no, no.
Please, someone respond to this and tell me you had the procrastination song growing up.
I've never heard that before. I mean, it feels like my life
Maybe
as
it was
well as
like
the life of my children.
what was the school, not Magic School Bus, no, Schoolhouse Rock.
No, I've seen like every episode of I've seen just about every episode of Schoolhouse Rock, and that sounds crazy. But Charlotte's gonna laugh when I say this. Shut up, Charlotte. When we lived on Guam, my kids and I checked out Schoolhouse Rock. I think we had it so long that they were like, "Can you just buy this or give it back to us? I don't care which one, but like return it." And we would watch it in the car. So like my kids knew all the Schoolhouse Rock songs.
I have to find where this came from because I put in the words and instantly the whole song came up, so I know I'm not nuts.
Was it like
'Cause it was like, "To heed these
anti-procrastination?
words, I have to say."
Was it like to make you not procrastinate?
Correct. It was like you would sing it we sang it in the classrooms
We
growing
definitely
up.
did.
And we used to joke about it because every time I would be like, oh, I have something to do and I didn't do it, we'd sing that dang song. All right,
Yeah, that
I'm gonna find.
you find it. You find it. We'll put a link to it in the
I'm putting it up.
yeah, I don't know
People will
that
probably
song.
be like, why? But
It should be my theme song. Like I've always been a procrastinator. And here's the best part about it. I have always been a procrastinator. It's just in my spirit, right? So why am I so surprised and annoyed when my children do the same thing? And I'm like, why are you waiting till the last minute? I've been a lifelong procrastinator and I know that about myself. And yet somehow when my children do the exact same thing, I'm like, I'm sorry, what is this? Why are we waiting till
me
the last minute?
too. Why is that? I get so frustrated with them, and then it's 100% me.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and now you've got me rushing around. When realistically, like, here we go. Here's a great example of that. I have been telling my child that I want them to try out for track. I want you to go out
That's a
for
wrap
track. I
on
want you
this
to do
week's
a sport,
episode.
a sport at
Thanks for
school so you
joining
can meet
us,
some new people. We're new
and we
here,
look forward
still
to
settling in.
continuing to provide a
Physicals were
space
due
to
on
get real
Friday. So
about
I was
both
at
the
the school on
challenges
Friday
and the
because
beautiful
my little
moments
gremlin got
of
student of
living
the
this
month,
military
y'all.
life.
So
Love
proud.
that. We hope you
And
find support,
I
and
was
of
talking to this
course,
gentleman at the
some
school who happens
laughs.
to be the
Remember to
activities
follow us on the
coordinator.
socials,
And I was like, yeah, I was
and
going to
don't
have
be
him try out
afraid
for
to
track,
join
but
the
I didn't get
conversation.
his physical
Until
done.
next
And he
time,
goes, you can get it to me
this is
Monday.
great.
When did I call the doctor to get that physical so that I can turn it into them today?
This morning.
This morning at 8:30. Oops. And am I going to roll up to the school with like the physical in my kid's clothes to do the tryout? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. If my kid did that, would I be like, see, this is why you can't have me running around last minute? Also, yes. Like, do as I say, not as I do.
exactly. I have to remind myself so many times that I am their parent. So why in the world would they not mimic what I am doing? It makes, I mean, what's the phrase? I don't know. I'm not going to remember it. Something about you don't know as much about yourself until you put the mirror in front of your face, which ends up being your children. I just
Mhm.
butchered that completely, but you may know it better than I, Tanya. But
I don't know that one, but I just tell people all the time, I'm like, turns out it's really hard to raise yourself.
yes,
And it's really hard also. Like, it's hard to raise yourself. And then sometimes it's hard to raise your spouse because you're like, wait a second.
so that one's way harder for me because I have one of my children who is my spouse reincarnated into a smaller, younger human. And we're very opposite people in so many ways in our approach, our thought process, everything, systems, whatever you want to
Hmm.
think about. And believe it or not, I am much more chill about a lot of things, even though I have personal KPIs. Leave me alone. But I have had to call him when he was like deployed to Kuwait. And I would be like, I'm sorry, could you give me a time that you can talk? Because I don't know how to approach this situation because I don't understand. I don't understand the thought process. I
Hmm.
don't understand the behavior. I need help. And
Literally
he,
yesterday, I said something, and my spouse goes, you know, that's me, right? Like, every time we have this conversation, whatever it is that you're tagging in that one is me. And I'm like,
mm-hmm.
okay.
I know there's spouses out there that they seem to be much more similar,
Yeah.
but it is not my experience.
I don't think that would be very much fun. Like, I don't think the world could handle two of me living under one roof raising people
Mm.
because they would be like lots of me. They wouldn't have the balance of my spouse, like his logic and calm and just general, like, one of my favorite things about my spouse is that he can fix anything. So, like, if it was two of me, we wouldn't have that. Or even if we could, we wouldn't want to do it. It's
True.
like I can fix stuff, but like my kids didn't know I knew how to install a driver because I've convinced them that I don't know anything about technology. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little offended that they thought I couldn't install a driver. And then my spouse goes, well, what do you expect? Every time something has to be done, you go find daddy. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
that would be interesting. Okay, so you mentioned your personal KPIs. This is supposed to be a check-in. How's it going?
So, one of my very stereotypical things that I talked about in January was my health and being women. We talked about being women of a certain age and having to lean into health very differently. We're in our 40s. Fun things happen in your 40s to women. And so, actually, I say 2 months in because I think that episode was 2 months ago.
Yeah, about.
I feel much better. I've been super purposeful about doing what I need to do to move forward in that I'm very thankful for. And I'm making some progress on some other areas. Where I'm not making progress, one of the things I wanted to do was brush up on French. It was one of
Okay.
my personal. So my family's Cajun French, and I grew up in one of those situations where my grandmother speaks, or my great grandmother speaks fluent Cajun French, but they didn't teach us French. So I took French in middle school and high school, and I believe I took it in college, maybe, just to keep up conversational. And then I haven't done that since. And my oldest decided he wanted to learn French this year, and he has been so diligent with it. Every day he does his little Duolingo
I love that.
thing and checks in with me, and I have been failing miserably. But just this morning, not even thinking about us doing this episode, I restarted it. So hopefully that brings a little extra enrichment to my life. And where I have the other area that I really need to keep working on, which we've already touched on, is quite literally confident patience. I'm not doing well in that we thought we would not be in as much transition at this point of the year than we are. And I think having done that so many times at this point in my life, I get pretty immediately frustrated instead of you think that it would get easier. And there are a lot of things that get easier. There's a lot of juggling things yourself that you've done so many times that it does kind of like muscle memory, and that it isn't something you respond to negatively. But on the other side of that is the immediate frustration of that feeling that you're always here. And I'm definitely struggling with that this month. It really has hit me more this month because we've received news that things aren't happening in the timeline that we thought they would be happening in for answers on job things and life things. And I know everyone deals with stuff like this. In the military, we all know you deal with it 2 times, 3 times, I think, the average family. It doesn't really matter what branch you serve in or what capacity. I think everyone has a taste of that. And that's kind of where I'm sitting this week, is just in that, that like guttural frustration that you just sit down and keep moving everyone forward. But it isn't helping me focus on what I positively want to be focusing on for this year.
Yeah, I totally get that, right? The sometimes when we are trying to navigate a tough space, it feels like all of our energy has to go towards not just losing it on that
Right.
one frustration thing. So we can't like positively build towards something else because we're just using everything to stay in control and stay somewhat centered and focused. That's tough.
Yeah, it's kind of we've talked about it so many times, Tanya, even with our guests that we've had on the podcast, that why do we have to do this in a manner that doesn't allow families to plan
Mm-hmm.
well? And we know that so many changes have happened in 2025, especially
Yeah.
with military policy. We've talked in depth about that with PCSing. Oh my God. I will, let me say this. I'm not PCSing this year. Permanent change of station. For those of you who do not know the jargon and are here just for Tanya and I's hilarity. I'm not moving. I'm staying put. Now we are doing a lot of construction and other things on our house, so that brings its own fun. Tanya isn't either. So our hearts, minds, and everything are with all of you who are navigating that. We know that the current system does not seem to be helpful at all to military families trying to move this summer, and we will support in any way we can. Tanya always shouts out her moving team that she loves so much, which is
Logs and Mill Moves. And if you guys are military and you're not on, oh gosh, what is the Facebook group? I'm gonna find it for you guys. It's with Megan Harless.
PCS Like a Pro.
PCS Like a Pro.
Okay,
You
yeah,
guys, if
she's
you are
great.
not there, asking your questions, looking for your resources, looking for validation of
Yeah.
like, this is what happened. Am I crazy? You need to be on there.
Also, excuse me, someone's already asking me about summer camp.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. But okay.
What?
So here's your reminder, your every episode reminder, guys, that my kids are staggered above Courtney's kids.
Yes, they're older.
Right? So my youngest is like a year older than her oldest.
Yes.
So we're not really doing summer camp. I think we might do a surfing camp, maybe.
Okay.
But like,
Okay. Salt
But
and
like,
wound, salt and wound.
this is like where we are, right? Like over here in my house, it's like, so Nathan, you applied for that internship. When we find out if you're going to get it, so I can help you find housing in another city, so you can go do this like college level internship. It's a different vibe, right? It's not better or worse. It's just different.
It is different, yes, but someone asked me last week about, "What summer camp are your kids doing?" And I was like, It's snowing still in the state of New York."
It is.
It's snowing. Why are we talking about this? It's
It's
like Hunger Games out here for these programs. It's crazy. Y'all sit down.
But, like, you have to get on it early, otherwise, like, they all fill up, right? That's how it
Mm.
was. You gotta remember last time I actually, like, ran the gamut of summer camps. It was in Northern Virginia, so I was, like, running to my computer trying to get people signed
Oh,
up
in
for
Northern
stuff.
Virginia, it's like cutthroat.
And expensive. And expensive.
Oops.
The amount of money I paid, like, we were doing the FSA that you can do now for military members. Guys, I think open enrollment's still available for that, I think. Check
Mhm.
it out. But we were signing up for it. And he was like, "Do we need dependent care?" And I was like, "Not anymore. Our kids have aged out of it." But the way that thankfully, at least one of the summers we were in Northern Virginia, I had dependent care FS to cover all those camp costs
Nice.
because it was insane.
We
And I
were
had
able to
two.
actually use childcare aware.
Oh,
For one of the summers when we were in Alexandria, we were able to do childcare wear because the program was expensive enough that it qualified.
yeah.
So something to think through. People don't think all the way through on those resources with regard to you think about general childcare, but you don't really think about the summer camps and other
Mhm.
things when it's off time. But that stuff still does qualify. If you're in an area where it's provided, it still qualifies for you to get assistance with
That's
those.
awesome.
I call them tuitions. They feel like tuitions, but I guess
They
it's
do
fee?
feel like
I don't know.
tuitions. They're fees, but they do feel like tuitions. Yeah. So my Q1, almost end of Q1 check-in. Like I said, confident patient's not really a challenge for me. The challenge is more in making sure that I'm not being too patient and too confident in my like
Doing some things?
right, too confident in my like sitting here. There are definitely some things. So I know one of the goals that I had previously put out was launching like a website and doing stuff. Is that done yet? Absolutely not.
It's moved, though.
It's moved. It's definitely moved. I think in sitting in the space of patience, it's given me an opportunity to better figure out how I want it to align so that I can build it once and have it be what I want versus
Yeah.
get it out there and be like, oh, that's not actually it. Right. Professionally, like there's stuff going and we're getting there. Personally, it's been good. Actually, have been doing just recently, I started doing meditation and journaling classes.
Yeah, you've been so lovely, like, and almost enviously calm in a very positive way. That sounds like I'm saying it negative. I'm not. I'm not. I'm in awe. I'm just it's true. I've talked to you so many times, and I'm like, Tanya has a different energy about her right now. It's lovely.
It's funny. I've always kind of joked that like each PCS offers me an opportunity to learn a different part of myself.
Mm,
And it's never really intentional. It's just sort of how it happens, right? Location changes, life changes, whatever. And so this PCS brought a slowdown, essentially,
mhm.
right? Kid left, spouse headed out for a little while. And so I kind of had to slow down to manage my other two and really focus on them and help them and in doing so also focusing on myself. So like you said, health goals, I'm still working on them, but a lot has gotten checked off as far as
Mhm.
just general maintenance and well-being, right? And but
Can
then
we pause there too and just encourage all of you to do those things?
yes.
It's very hard, especially when you're military and PCSing and everything has to be redone. We know
Yeah.
that. We get it. It all has to be redone. I still haven't made it to the rheumatologist, and that's on me. You have to make your own separate appointment for that, but please do
Mhm.
them. Please make yourself a priority. I know that it's flu season and
Mhm.
sickness is still everywhere and the kids take precedence a lot of times on schedules and personal days and all of that, but please do take care of yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, there were definitely some of my appointments that required follow-ups and additional information, and it was so reassuring to do all of those things and to make
Mhm.
sure everything was, like, where it needed to be. Yeah, you guys make sure you're taking care of yourself. You deserve that. Your family deserves that because sometimes we forget that, like, we'll be like, "Well, I don't have the time for that." Well, do you have the time to really be down? probably also not.
No.
So do the maintenance. So that, but also just the mental wellness and like overall wellness maintenance, right? And so thanks.
Oh, I just found out this morning, sorry, Tanya, to interrupt, that Chase, you know how Chase does, if you have Chase and you have a credit card with Chase, and maybe someone else does it as well, but Chase now has the deals where you get 10% back
Mhm.
if you on a Chase Reserve or unlimited. They are not paying me to say this. Anyway, I found out this morning the Calm app. You
Mm.
can download the Calm app, and if you have one of those Chase cards, it's free for the first year.
Oh, nice.
So you can have a year of it, and it will. You don't even have to do whatever the lowest subscription is. I guess it's a subscription model. I'm gonna download it today and see how it goes. But it says it'll reimburse up to $70,
And if
and
the
I think
Calm
that's
app is anything like their social media, they're phenomenal.
yes.
I love their
That's
social
why
media.
I got really excited this morning drinking my coffee, seeing that that was a perk. So if you are looking to have those moments, I know they have music, they have meditation, they have the rain sound. Look it up, or I'm happy to provide more information if you don't see it or can't figure it out.
Yeah. So yeah, take care of you guys. Take care of yourselves. Have some meditation, have some centering time. It's been really beneficial for me. It's something I look forward to. Shout out to my friend Heidi for sharing the information with me and inviting me to join her. It's been good. It's been really good.
It's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think it's going to help me. It's been very helpful as we're in this season of, like you said, a season of transition. Like we're still there, right? We are what, 6 months, I guess almost 9 months into living here. That went quick and very slow all at the same time.
Right.
So like still getting my kids settled, but even just like on the military side, right? Still in a transition in a space of like not quite in one place or the next. So just writing it out with confident patience some days not so much. But
Yeah.
don't talk to me tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a day. He heads out tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be like, this sucks. But today,
Yes, and
we're chill.
that was me last Monday. I called Tanya because my husband was gone. He was at Fort Bragg, now again Fort Bragg, and that first day he was gone. Y'all know how this happens. You're like, it becomes laughable because you're just holding your breath, waiting for what ridiculousness is going to happen. And boy, did it. My oldest decided to make or no, it was Sunday. Sorry, Sunday. He decided to make pancakes and like go all out and do this like blueberry syrup and blah, 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 blah. And then 30 minutes later, the youngest couldn't reach something. And so he hurled himself on top of the cabinet and kicked the jar of blueberry syrup, which proceeded to explode. And when I say explode, it was one of those things where we were on our hands and knees finding blueberry syrup like underneath cabinets, like the places that you only clean once or twice a year. We were doing that for an hour. Then I send them out to play with the dog. Then the oldest comes in with poop all over him.
Oof.
Then he cleans his shoes in the deep sink and leaves it all. So then I walk in an hour later and I can't figure out why everything smells like poop. And at the end of the day, I wasn't even mad. I was like, it is the expectation that day 1, 2, or 3,
Oh, yeah.
when your partner leaves, is always like this, like
Always.
without fail.
Always.
Without fail.
I usually get sick. Somebody gets sick. So I'm fingers crossed nobody gets sick this time. And something's going to break. I'm not sure what. But this time a friend was like, if you need anything, I loan you my husband.
That's nice.
And this, like, I hope they are ready for the rapidity with which I will call them. Because this last round, I was like caulking a tub. I was rolling my back out one day, y'all. And I was like, oh man, I gotta like roll my back. It hurts. And then all of a sudden, my fracking looking up the ceiling, there's a leak. And I'm like, where did that come from? Like, that wasn't there. I'm not trying to do that this time.
Definitely not.
Like we're not looking for a repeat of that. Yeah, we're gonna be calling in some phone and some favors.
Phone a friends. I love
Be
it.
ready. If you live locally and you told me you'd help, be ready for it.
But as we always say, we would love to hear from you. We would love to
Always.
support you. I'm going to find my procrastination song and get it up. Y'all, somebody who's the same age as me sang this noise up in 3rd and 4th grade. I know you did. You need to tell me who you are. because I quickly Googled it and the song came up, but I can't find
Where it came from?
like a YouTube or anything of it. So it's going to take me a minute. Um, checking in. How are you doing with the phrase confident patience in 2025? How are you doing having set your intentions at the beginning of the year? Or maybe not. Maybe now you're setting your intentions after getting your feet wet.
I mean, yeah, you guys think about it like a business. Your fiscal year may not run January to January. It might be March to March. I'm going to be honest. I didn't start anything in January. Like January was just, hey, January was about,
Longest month of the year.
yeah, it was like 3 months long, first of all. And it was full of like ridiculousness where it was like, really, this is what we're doing. This is how we're starting the year. So like February was my first month of being like, okay, what are we really going to do? So maybe yours is April, right? Maybe you start in Q2. It works for all of us. Let us know. Let us know what you have done with your intentions. Let us know if you write them down. Because I want to hear from some people that are like,
Oh,
yeah, I write my goals down and it's really effective.
that's my goal before the next time we check in
Yeah.
on not next episode. That's too quick. Not next episode. But the next time we check in on the year
You can't write?
is when I'm really trying to
You know,
focus to get my stuff written down.
I think I'm going to be doing journal meditation class tomorrow. It's interesting too, because like when I do the journaling with it, it's not really so much, anyway, you guys, it's going to be a witchy moment. It's not me like intentionally being like, this is what I want our journal about. It's kind of like whatever has like downloaded. So I'm interested to see if some of this comes through. Because from the last time, because I will say this, from the last meditation session that I had in the journaling, there were certain things that I wrote that I have seen like surface since then where I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. I can see the through thread. So I think that would be really, really good for my goals. And be intentional about your goal, or not intentional, be specific about your goals, you guys. Give them a timeline. This sounds so Courtney-ish because now I'm about to be like, make them a SMART goal, okay? Make them specific, make them measurable, but like seriously.
Again, let me be great. Thank you.
Just saying. We're going to do this together, you guys. We're going to write it down. We're going to achieve some really great things this year. I'm excited. And also, we've missed you guys. I'm sorry it has been so long between episodes. Life has been lifing. We'll remind you that we are both still active duty spouses with 3 children and jobs and pets. So we apologize for the absence, but know that we missed you guys hopefully as much as you missed us.
Yes.
Probably maybe a little bit more.
Thank you for taking the time to gather at Gray with us today. Send us a note.
Yes.
You can send us a note even on Gmail, gatheratgray@gmail.com. As per usual, we will put the episodes up on Instagram. Make sure you are following. Tanya will probably continue with her Monday message because I never remember that it's Monday and that we should do a message.
You guys will be getting a Monday message today. What's it going to be? Just yet. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to figure it out. But you guys will definitely be getting one today. Because it's Monday. And we want to drop on you guys' radar. Like we said, it's March 17th today. April 1st, we'll kick off Month of the Military Child. Obviously, we think military kids are pretty special over here. Really funny. My kid just this past weekend, my oldest was like, somebody thanked me for my service and said I served too. And I was like, no, I don't. And I was like, well, dude, you kind of a little bit do. Like, kind of put up with a lot of stuff. But in support of Month of the Military Child, we want to highlight the fundraiser that Operation Childcare Project is doing. If you guys are not aware, the color for the military child is purple. And it's because it's, essentially a combining of all the forces colors, right? They combine the purple. So purple represents kids of all branches. And April, they encourage people who are supporting Month of the Military Child to wear a purple shirt. Operation Childcare Project, love Kayla and her team, they are selling shirts. If you go to occproject.org and click on their donate page, you can find the t-shirts that they're selling. And my favorite thing about them is they have a black one that says, "This is my purple shirt." Because not all of us really want to wear purple. Like, we love our kids, but like sometimes purple just is not your color. All of the funds raised will go to support their work to support childcare costs, like Courtney was talking about earlier, childcare wear, summer costs while people are getting medical care, all of that, right? They do some really great work with not just grants, but also with helping military families navigate that space of childcare. So definitely check them out, support them. I will have my This Is My Purple shirt on for our April episode. Yeah. I miss anything?
Nope. We'll link it. We'll
link it.
fundraiser and the shirt. We'll both be getting the black one if you want to match us.
Yeah, we will.
But it's a really great organization and another resource that we wanted to bring to this community if you were not aware of it.
Awesome. You guys have a great day. I hope your St. Patrick's Day is full of good luck. I mean, you'll be listening to this after that, but I hope it was full of good luck. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Talk soon.
That's a wrap on this week's episode. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to continuing to provide a space to get real about both the challenges and the beautiful moments of living this military life. We hope you find support and, of course, some laughs. Remember to follow us on the socials, and don't be afraid to join the conversation. Until next time, this is Gray.